about a full house. Start in just a second. Let's see it. Okay, thank you guys for coming to Japanese Gravure Paradise. It's a full house. It's super exciting to see everybody here. Now, before we start, I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. So, picture this. I want you guys to put yourselves in the shoes of a just traditional Japanese office worker. Just imagine that you just work standard, super boring Japanese 9-to-5 office job. You come in every day, just sit at your desk, do computer work all day, and you go home. Now, every day is just about the same. It's super boring, but you do know that the office right next door has some pretty weird foreigners that you don't know quite a lot about. Other than that, super boring. Now, one day, just like any other day, you come into your office job, you walk in, you sit down, and then while you're working, you suddenly hear, but you think it's just, you think nothing of it. You just continue about your workday, just whatever, Just like, okay, maybe I heard something. Or maybe it's not what I think it is, even though it definitely sounds like it. So you continue about your work as you do. And at one point, you decide to use the restroom. So you get up out of your office, you walk out, and you notice that the office with the strange foreigners has a door that's wide open. And you walk by, and of course, curiosity gets the best of you. You peek in, and what you see is a half-naked girl completely surrounded by camera crew. So, that office, full of strange foreigners, is us. And that is a true story that actually happened to us. But the question, I'm sure, on her mind and on all of your guys' minds is, how did we get here? And we have a little bit of a teaser trailer to show you guys. That was us. That was our work. But again, going back to the original topic, how did we get here? How did we get to that point? Now, I want to pass this over to Tristan. So Tristan, can you tell us, how did this all happen? How did you get this start in the gravure industry?
That's a good question. So, yeah, as you could see, I'm one of the strange people in the video you just saw. And I'm Tristan, and I live in Japan for about 10 years now. Yeah, when I first came, I just studied in Japan, I had a regular working job, but I was very passionate about one thing, which are Japanese idols. Japanese idols as idols, dancing on the stage, Japanese gravure idols, which we are going to talk about later in the presentation, and also Japanese adult video idols, or AV idols, as you might know. And I went to many of their fan events, and took pictures with them, got into the industry, and then I also went to many different events where I actually got to know some of these idols, and I spoke with them, and I decided, hey, how about, I should make my own little agency in Japan, work with models, and that's where I met my partner, Matt, Rescue the Princess, who is a cosplay videographer living in Japan as well. And so we started our business, working with all these idols, taking videos, photos, managing them, and it became bigger and bigger. We made our own YouTube channel as well, and that's how we got started. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very interesting origin story. But you guys work with so many different models, and it's not always just the same person. You know, you guys are always featuring in videos with tons of different people. Now, you mentioned you met Matt here, Rescue the Princess, at one of these events, but how did you meet the rest of the models? Matt, how did you know, what can you give into this? How did you meet the rest of the models?
Yeah, I mean, I usually film cosplay at like conventions in Japan, and I met Tristan, and Tristan's like, Matt, you should check out this one convention. There's tons of beautiful cosplayers. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, why not? And when I got there, it was just like nothing I'd ever seen before. It's like an underground, all-lewd cosplay event where the cosplayers just wear super sexy outfits. And I was, yeah, I'd never seen anything like that. But yeah, anyway, that's where we met most of the models, actually. So we interviewed them and networked that way. And then the models would, I guess, tell their friends, hey, these guys are weird foreigners, but they're you know, interesting. They take good videos. Maybe you should work with them. So we met a lot of the Japanese models that way.
Okay. But aside from the models, and obviously the work that you guys do with them, what exactly is Gravure? What separates Gravure from, say, for example, other adult-oriented forms of entertainment?
Maybe you should ask the audience, like, do you guys know? Does everyone know?
Yeah, does anyone here know specifically what Gravure is? Yes, you're right there.
Personally, I would think of it as anything that's just, you know, lewd outfits, no actual, like, proper nudity.
Right.
I think it would be close to what we would call softcore here.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a fantastic description. Tristan, if you can go a little bit more into detail.
Yeah, I mean, that's already very, very close. So basically, what comes the closest to the term gravure in English is the word, pin-up model. In Japan, gravure, usually what makes a gravure idol is that, you know, she will be printed within magazines. Like in Japan, there's many, many monthly or weekly magazines, which include manga, like talking about different products, about sport, about news. And it will usually have a couple of pages featuring a model. And that's considered gravure. And there's many different types of gravure. There's gravure for younger people, which is for a targeted audience of 15 or plus. And then there's gravure, 18 plus gravure, where, for example, it can be a nude model, can also be considered gravure. And gravure idols are gravure idols, but for example, a cosplayer or a famous voice actress or a television announcer or an edit video star can also produce gravure, which basically means being printed or engraved inside the magazine. That's what gravure is.
Okay, so you mentioned that there's, you know, at least two different, I guess, types of gravure.
Yep.
One for 15 and older audiences and one for 18 and older. Can you give us like a few examples of what would separate the two? Like what's allowed in, for example, R15 gravure and what's allowed in R18 gravure?
Right, it's definitely, the biggest part is the outfit that the gravure idol wears in a gravure performance. For example, complete nudity would be considered 18 plus. Or for example, you know, something that can see through, showing your nipples, or a very, very revealing string tanga would consider 18 plus, where, for example, putting sand to cover your nipples, or wearing a little bit a more covering bikini would be considered gravure and 15 plus.
Okay. So, as you mentioned, a lot of gravure, at least in Japan, is relatively common. I mean, you can find it in, for example, if you go to the konbini, like you walk into a Family Mart or 7-Eleven, oftentimes, kind of like how grocery stores here in the US will have a magazine section, or like a low quality literature section. In Japan, every time you go into, for example, konbini, or really most stores, they'll have gravure literature in the front. But gravure specifically isn't restricted to just magazine form, for example. For example, oftentimes gravure is either on a magazine or a DVD, for example. But how exactly is gravure produced? These gravure mediums, how are they produced?
Right, let me go into that. So for example, most gravure idols actually will also release a gravure DVD. That's like, you know, one of the products that a gravure idol will release on usually it's in a 3-month basis. For example, every 3 months there will be another gravure DVD. We have a couple of samples from Faye here.
Which we'll be giving away later.
Oh yeah. And so it's usually produced, in many, many different steps. So first of all, the Gravure Idol, there's the Gravure Idol with the agency. There's a production company, the company that's going to produce the actual Gravure DVD, produce and manufacture it. And there's some kind of entity in between, which is the manager or producer of the whole production of the Gravure DVD. And those are the three big entities needed for Gravure DVD.
Okay, and what would you say is the most important aspect of, for example, a Gravure DVD, or when it comes to producing Gravure? What is the number one thing, aside from the models, of course, that they look for?
Definitely the location is one of the big things on a Gravure DVD. So usually there are certain type of locations that Gravure is taken. We have some examples. Yeah, as you can see, one very, very popular Gravure location is the beach. So for example, we went for the first DVD of Faye, we went to Okinawa and filmed it at the beach in Okinawa, very beautiful in the sand. And there's also a hotel right next to it where we filmed the most popular Gravure scenes, which is in the morning bed after waking up, and then in the bed before going to sleep. In the shower room. In the shower room, you can use lots of lotion and body soap to make it even more sexy. And for example, you can also go to different locations. We have, for example, location, we went with another Gravure Idol, Ririkana. We went to an onsen ryokan, or a hot spring hotel, where we film scenes in a hot spring. You can film scenes, in a car, we did that as well, or somewhere in nature where there's nobody there and it's safe to film. Anywhere can be a Gravure spot.
Okay, so Faye, given all this information, what would you say has been your favorite Gravure location to film at so far?
I think when I go Okinawa, of course the sea is very beautiful, the sky is beautiful too, but it's not better than I shot in bathroom, because when I shot in bathroom, I can use lots of lotion on my body. And
course,
it looks
naturally.
pretty sexy. Yeah.
Okay. Now, aside from location and models, I'm sure this is a full-scale production.
Yep.
What other people are involved in the creation of Gravure?
Right, there's a couple of people that will be needed for the production of Gravure DVD. The first, of course, the most important person is the actual Gravure Idol, the model. And the second most important person is the video director. A video director who is going to direct and also take all the video footage, followed by the producer of the whole project. The producer is the person who will rent all locations and take care of the staff, get food and drinks for the staff, make sure that there's enough break time in between. And then you also need a still cameraman, a cameraman that takes photos during the whole shoot. So first of all, you take a video for 1-2 hours, and then there's the cameraman to take photos for half an hour, and then it just goes next outfit, next outfit, next outfit. It takes about 2 hours for the first makeup, and then every change of clothes will take about 30 minutes. In total, the whole, it's usually the whole day that you shoot, from morning 7 a.m. till the evening 9 p.m. Just shooting with little breaks in between. And then you also need makeup artists. The makeup artist will take care of fixing the makeup, which it's for each scene it's a little bit different. The hairstyle will be different. And also when lotions, for example, apply to the body, or there's a massage scene, or there's like a hand coming into the scene, it's always a female makeup artist. And then we also have the stylist. The stylist takes care of the outfits. The outfits, which are all custom made, will be prepared by the stylist, who's always there. And when the cameraman films, she will be always watching, if there's maybe you can see too much, she'll be fixing the costume at the spot.
Okay, and then as it goes, obviously aside from the model and the location, the costumes are probably the second, arguably maybe even the biggest point of focus when it comes to a Gravure DVD. So how does something as important as the costume for example, how do people choose the costume that gets featured in a Gravure DVD?
Right. So before the actual production takes place, the Gravure Idol, the model, will go to the maker company together with the manager and the producer and the stylist. And they will discuss what kind of outfits do we want to feature this time, and how far can we go, what kind of clothes did she not wear in the previous work. And so you discuss all the different outfits, and then the stylist is going to prepare or custom adjust all outfits which are featured in the final product. And the model is going to try these on at a later time, again, at the making company. And as you can see here, we have 4 example pictures, which I'll go into. Actually, 2 of those are R15, and 2 of those are R18 in an R18 product. The ones in the middle, which you can see on the left in the middle, that's Virikana. Her outfit is R15 on the middle photo because it covers at least 30% of her butt. If it's less than 30%, it will be considered R18. So there's a board of editors right after the DVD is taken, and if it's too revealing, it will be not sold. It can't be sold on Amazon, and it has to be R18 rated. So there's like a very, very thin line. And on the left, for example, we see the same Virikana with like thong, yeah.
So for reference, in Japan, the word for thong is teabag.
Yeah.
But it's almost exclusively used in Japan. So whenever this conversation comes up, people are like, "Oh yeah, we can't show this because it has a tea bag," and most people are like, "What? Tea bag?" But yeah, so a thong would be restricted to, for example, R18.
Yeah. This would be R18, and on the right side we see a front shot of Faye with a violet, lingerie outfit. This one is completely fine with R15. Whereas on the very, very right, Asakura Marina, she has a see-through outfit where you can slightly see, her nipples under the outfit, which would be considered R18.
Okay. And Faye, would you say that you have a specific outfit that's a favorite of yours when you go to Gravure shoots?
What's my favorite outfit?
Yeah, is there any outfit that you prefer to wear when you go to a shoot? Like, do you have favorite outfits?
Yeah, I think every time the costume designer, she will prepare lots of costume for me, and just like the last one is made by herself. I mean, you now really can buy it in Japan, on Amazon or what. And I think almost of them is beautiful, but in fact, usually I more like to just wear nothing. And just kind of on the bed, and just use something to cover my body, and make it not R18. I think I shot the R15 Gravure.
Okay, okay. Now, when you're filming a Gravure DVD, obviously there's almost like a story, for example, behind it. Now, what are some common activities that are, what are some common activities, or what are some things that the models typically do in a Gravure shoot?
Right. There's a couple of activities that will take place in a Gravure DVD. Usually it's from the view of her boyfriend or lover or husband, and it's there will be a couple of scenes. For example, there's the famous like licking something or sucking on something scene, and Gravure idols, before the whole production takes place, there's a whole checklist of things what they want to do and what they don't want to do, and even like, for example, let's give an example about, for example, what Faye is sucking on right here, a lollipop. Whereas, for example, you can choose between different things that you're okay with and not okay with. For example, you can choose between a banana, but the softest one would be ice cream, then it's a lollipop, then it's a banana, then it's a sausage, and then it would be some sort of toy or like a transparent stick. And depending on the grade, you can say, I don't want to have anything of this, or I'm okay with this, but not with this. And then there's also, for example, workout scenes where the girl is sweating. There's the scene in the bath where the girl gets covered in lotion. And there's also massage scenes, or the famous scene bouncing on a ball, which makes it almost look like you're having sex. And those are the typical scenes for Gravure TV.
Okay, and just to go back to the first point you mentioned, like when it goes to the kind of storytelling aspect of Gravure, oftentimes what's highlighted is it's almost supposed to be like a POV kind of film, correct? Like a boyfriend experience, for example, or a husband experience, or like a lover experience with these models. So does it usually only focus on the model, or is there ever somebody else that's brought in to kind of play that role?
Right. Very important is there's also two different styles. I think the POV style is one of them. There's also the so-called image video style, where it's really just the girl posing, and then you have the POV style where the girl's interacting with somebody else, but there's never somebody else in the shot except the makeup artist's hand.
Okay. And with posing, obviously, it's really important that they kind of play a role, like obviously acting, when it comes to these DVDs. So posing is super important, but I feel like a lot of us, anybody who's had really even a photo taken, find that posing can be quite difficult, or I feel like it's very specific based on what message is supposed to convey.
Right.
So that being said, Faye, and we also have cosplayer Yuriko Tiger here, can you guys show us some poses that you would like to do in, for example, in shoots or Gravure films?
Please.
So I think, of course, just how about I take an example of 5?
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I think Japanese. I think Japanese mainly, of course, they like M, like this. Yeah. Can you guys see? Okay. M like this, and or like behind like this, behind M, and of course, when I shot Gravure, and they always the director asked me to do doggy pose like this. Yeah.
Famous doggy.
And
Very famous.
of course, if you have a sexy boots, people will like you show them like this. Yeah, I think it's a classic pose.
Classic pose. Yeah.
Very classic, exactly.
Classic. And how about Yuriko? Do some sexy pose for us.
Favorite poses. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is also a great A pose.
I think for everybody have like a point, like if your breasts are very big, like Faye, less Faye, I think you show more your boobs. But if you have both, you can do the same thing. Like this. This.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I think so.
So Yuriko, from everything you saw in Japan, I mean you lived in Japan also quite a while, you
Yeah.
worked in the industry. What
Yeah.
were like some crazy things you can tell us or your impression?
Oh well, the last time I went for the first time at Cosholic, it's like a Gravure event, and was my first time in 10 years. It was like scary, but very fun because everybody have like a free to express yourself. If it's your nude, sexy, nobody care. Everybody is beautiful and everybody have a very beautiful body. So, but for example, I'm very shy, so I'm trying to do my best. And it was like something very easy, something like that. And the girl near to me was like something like that. I will try.
Oh.
It was like, wow, I want to do that. Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome, thank you guys very much. Can we give a round of applause to Faye and to Tiger? So yeah, as you can see, there's a wide variety of poses. Oftentimes it's up to the models really to choose what kind of poses they want to do and when they go to Gravure shoots. But as Yuriko Tiger mentioned, a lot of Gravure models will have specific charm points that they like to focus on. So Tristan, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? What exactly is a charm point for Gravure models?
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely very different charm points that you can, make some appeal of. But for example, boobs, your butt. Maybe you are very petite. Maybe in Japan there's also not sure. Like the kind of lolly style, very very slim and tiny type of girl. There's definitely gyaru type girls. They have a dark, like a dark tan, and also, you can do different brandings for yourself, which we go into now. I think it's Matt.
Yeah, Matt, can you go ahead and talk to us more about specifically the models that we work with and how they choose to brand themselves?
Oh, yeah, sure. These are actually 4 models that we work with in our agency. On the left, we have Shihomi, who's known for doing a lot of sexy gravure photos with fish. She loves fishing, and that stands out.
Something for everybody. There's something for everybody.
Make your hobby your charm point.
Yeah, make your hobby your charm point.
And you
Goes
can
for
see
everyone.
lots of wonderful fishing photos on our social media. Feel free to check that out. Next is Momo Momose, who's also, she's an M Cup idol, known for her large breasts.
Wow!
And next to her is Rubicana, the Peach Queen, known for her big butt. And on the right, we have a special model from Taiwan, a prince. Yeah, a lot of the models use, their charm points to advertise themselves. Like Rubicana, she calls herself the Peach Queen to, make herself more known. And other models, for example, we work with another one called Akopai, who's also another large-breasted idol. And yet, in Japanese, boobs is Opai, and her name is Ako, so her idol name is Akopai. So they, put it together to have original names to make people remember them.
Yeah.
And then also there's a URL where you can find all the talents that we manage in Japan if you're interested in that.
Yeah. And so those are the models, some of the models that we work with, and at least the charm points and poses that they like to focus on throughout their shoots. Everybody typically, when they find models that they like, they will find models that they either just enjoy or models that have a charm point, for example, that resonates with them. But aside, of course, from DVD production, gravure photo shoot production, all of that, how do most of these gravure models, do they kind of just stay in the same place throughout their career, or is there a lot of room for growth in the gravure industry? Where do these gravure models typically go after just gravure shoots?
Right, I mean, there's definitely many things you can do as a gravure idol in Japan. It's really not restricted. If you're very talented, you can be an actor or a musician as a gravure idol. Besides, doing your DVDs or being in magazines or having regular shootings with your fans, where fans buy an entry ticket to take photos of you or with you. There's also, there's gravure idols who, are at the very top of Japanese celebrities. They are in television, commercials, and so on and so on. And it's actually also, it can also be the other way around. Let's say you are already a very famous actor, and then you have a gravure shoot. It can also go both ways. There's no end to it.
Okay, cool. And now, again, aside from kind of gravure photo shoots and DVD production and everything, as far as our company goes, and as far as the work that we do with our models, what's next? What else do we have in store?
What's next? So actually we just started a new brand quite recently, which is called Gravure Kit, gravurkit.com, and we are selling the works that we do, videos that we take with our models and photos that we take, and the next step will be to also sell more physical products. All the DVDs that they are selling in Japan, we are going to sell more, offer to more and more people all around the world. That's the next big step.
Yeah, most Japanese gravure content is only available in Japan, so we're trying to make an international site where foreigners can also buy it.
It's still in the beginning phase. If you order physical products, it might take a little bit longer for the shipping. Very sorry for that, but otherwise, digital products can be purchased immediately. And we are also going to offer a checky, like Polaroid photos of all the models. So if you are into the culture, check it out.
Right, yeah, so in Japan, especially with gravure models, Polaroid prints of models doing, say, for example, sexy or provocative poses, oftentimes signed, are called checkies rather than Polaroids here, and those have a huge presence when it comes to kind of gravure events and gravure idols in Japan. Oftentimes, when you go to an event that features gravure idols, they'll be selling or auctioning off special checkies that they took, or Polaroids that they took of themselves. And so that's Gravure Kit. That's kind of like the online store version of the work that we do. But what is Around Akiba, man? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're also YouTubers. We have a channel called Around Akiba, or our office is in Akihabara, full of, you know, the otaku city, and we're just, the channel's mostly like otaku content, and, but since we have to be working with these Japanese idols, sometimes we'll be like after we finish the photo shoot, we'll be like, hey, by the way, we have a YouTube, would you mind being in our video? And they're like, sure, why not? Even though they have no idea like what we're gonna make them do in our YouTube. So we just like, you know, do fun, mix kind of like the Gravure idols with the otaku content and make videos, so.
Yeah, a lot of Gravure idols actually too, especially in Japan, are big otaku. And so, like when they come on, for example, to our channel and do collaborative events and collaborative videos, a lot of them actually have their own kind of like, they'll branch off into their own YouTube channels as well and do like, say, for example, Pokemon card unboxing or like anime reviews and stuff like that.
Out of curiosity, has anyone watched our YouTube channel before?
Well, now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're actually, this event is also going to be covered on there. For the past 3 days, we've been walking around and filming everything, so go ahead and check that out. Maybe you'll see yourselves, who knows. But that's super exciting, it's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, so those are kind of what we do with our Gravure models and, you know, kind of with the history of a brief history and synopsis of what Gravure is. So now we'll open the floor to you guys. We're going to have a Q&A session. Go ahead and ask any one of us, you can ask all of us, you can ask just one of us specific questions you guys have. And then once this is set, we're actually going to have a quiz, like a quiz time where you guys can win prizes. So yeah, go ahead and the floor is open. I saw your guys' hands go up. You with in the white shirt.
Hey, thanks for being here, guys.
Thank
What
you.
you do.
Thank you.
I was just curious if you were approaching the industry from a more independent route. How do you go about like initially pricing out your sessions with the artist, and who really gets the rights to the things? Like, do you like to split it and do them copies, or like, do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, I'll pass that one on to Tristan.
Yeah, I mean, usually any product that we create with idols, it's either, you know, a one-time payment that we share with the model for a certain kind of product that we do. For example, a DVD will be usually a guarantee, like a specific amount that is paid to the model. Whereas in some cases, we do also split. And in our case, we do a 65-35 split with the models, yeah.
Yeah, we get 35.
We get
Yeah, we get 35. We want to make that clear.
Yeah,
Models.
generous when it comes to that.
Yeah, the focus is definitely on the Gravure models
Yeah.
when it comes to production. Obviously, we help and we do the filming and all of that stuff, but the majority split goes to the Gravure model.
Yeah.
What's a conservative budget for like a Gravure shoot? Like, what's the cheapest you can really do?
Oh, for the whole production, I mean, it depends if it's really just us with a model, like renting a room and shooting, like, you know, maybe the model brings her own outfit, it can range between maybe $200 to $500, depending really on what kind of production we have. Whereas a Gravure DVD will be at least $10,000, the whole production, to pay everybody and get the locations, yeah.
Thanks. And how about you right here in the blue?
So, so thanks for taking my question, by the way. So, here it is. When you're searching for new models, do you ever get models that come to you specifically, or do you also just come and, you know, look for them like
Right.
out in the wild, so to speak?
Definitely both ways, actually. I mean, there's definitely, we go to all these events, and there's definitely, we meet new people, we meet maybe models that we then talk to, and we ask them, oh, you want to work with us? That's one way. But then also maybe there's models that you already work with, and they will bring their friend and say, oh, can you also help our friend out? That happens both ways, yeah.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
How about, sorry.
Yep, you.
How's it like being a foreigner Gravure studio? Does it make it harder? Like, oh, these guys might be shady, they're foreigners, or does it make it easier because you're unique?
I would say both at the same time. It makes it easier because there's one approach point where we can say, okay, we are foreigners, you know, we can also help maybe with English or translations, or we can teach them on our YouTube, which is a targeted audience abroad. Whereas, again, there's definitely models that will be like, oh, you know, those foreigners, who are they? Can they speak Japanese? It's very important that you can speak Japanese to a certain level that they feel like, okay, if something happens, something they get angry about, they can just tell it and you will understand them 99% that they, you know, feel assured.
Yeah, my Japanese isn't very good, so they get kind of worried when I just start talking to them. But Tristan's like fluent, so they're like, oh, just speak to him, and then they calm down.
Yeah, communication is super important with, like, I mean, obviously with any kind of business proceeding, but of course when it comes to speaking with models who are based in Japan, when you're coming from a foreigner perspective.
Yep.
Thank you. Was Cosaholic the convention that Tristan mentioned to you earlier in the story? And also, are there any requirements for going to that? I'm hoping to visit Japan again in the future. I was wondering if there's something I can attend.
Right, actually the event, there's an entry ticket, you buy the catalog online, and then you can enter. Right now during COVID, it was very strict. You had to like register or even go into like a lottery system to get one of the catalogs to enter. Whereas before, you just purchase it on the spot. But you know, if you know where it is, you know, check the website. If you know, it takes place 3 to 4 times a year, so there's definitely an opportunity to join.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I have a perception of Japanese media as being quite focused on kind of older mediums, like you said, DVDs and things like that.
Yeah.
First of all, I was going to say, is that still true? And do you see Gravure moving on to sort of the internet and into a more sort of modern form factor, or is it still? In fact, I believe you mentioned Polaroids are still a really big deal.
Yeah. I think that's a very good question. It's going more and more into the digital version. For example, there's websites like DMM or also Rakuten, other big Japanese corporations that, they all focus on digital sales or streaming services for Gravure. But physical DVDs or CDs for music and the Polaroids are still important as a collectible because fans can buy them directly from the talent at an event and they get it signed, and take photos with her. It's all about, you know, the fan meetups where it's still relevant. But it's only, you know, it's already a success, considered a success. For example, 500 Gravure DVDs are sold in the physical version. So it's getting less and less, where maybe 10 years ago it was over 1,000. Yeah.
How much do they cost?
It's about $30, around $30 per DVD.
How about you, way back with the yellow shirt?
Hi. So actually, the gentleman before me took my main question, but in your experience, like from seeing the customers in Japan, what is the, say, average age or like the main age that you see? Because in my image, I'm Japanese, so my image as a very manual country with paper, DVDs, and checking.
Yep.
I feel like it's a more of a, to say from our perspective, millennial, like a 30 and up age range. Is there a lot of like young customers coming more or less in your side?
I wouldn't say more or less, but it's definitely not many younger people. Like from my experience also, most, for example, fans that go to a physical meetup are 30 plus. Whereas I assume that many of the actual consumers, for example, the audience that actually follows the Gravure Idol or is a fan of the Gravure Idol but might not actually purchase something, is definitely also younger, in the 20s. But the fan meetups, usually the people that I see there are 30 plus, even older.
Yeah, you in the back with the green shirt.
How's it going, guys? Question for you. So, do you guys have any specific clientele that come forth? I noticed when you were doing the slideshow, you had one of the models do a near automata kind of cosplay, right? So, do you have anybody come forward and say, hey, I want this model in this cosplay doing this action? I guess a spin-off of that is, are there any male Gravure models or no?
Male gravure is a very niche market. Yeah, there's definitely, I heard of it, and there's definitely male gravure idols or, you know, like maybe adult video actors, like male actors. But it's usually, they have to be already very famous and popular to be considered like an actual idol that, you know, a person that can live from this job. Yeah.
Which one? Oh, with the hat right here? The green? Yeah, go ahead. You, yeah.
How's it going? Thank you very much for being here. I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, do gravure models get recognized a lot in public? And if so, do you enjoy getting recognized?
Yeah, Faye.
Hey,
Do you and other gravure models get recognized in public often? And if you do you enjoy being recognized in public?
Of course. But don't send me too much with a message on DM or send your dick photo. I don't care about that.
So it's a big no-no. Big no-no.
Yeah.
No.
Just be respectable. But yeah, it does happen.
How about Yuriko?
Same. I know a lot of Japanese gravure model are not very happy when people recognize that model. I don't know, for example, at the station, because we have several problems of stalker too. I had. So it's okay. It's okay to be nice, to say hello. Or
Don't follow us.
don't follow to my home, please. Thank you. Onegaishimasu.
I think we have time. Two more, maybe? Okay,
Yeah.
two more questions. Tristan, how are you going?
Then the pink hair, glasses.
Hi, so I had a similar question for the models too. When you do your job, you're usually surrounded by a camera crew, and that's pretty much it. And you said that you enjoy saying hi to fans and stuff. When you're in big crowds like this, like meeting face to face and like having a conversation, like does more people does that make you nervous, or do you feel more comfortable knowing that you have fans? Because I realize that you know that you have fans, but sometimes you can't put a face to it. I just want to know like how this kind of situation makes you feel.
Okay, depends, because when I went like post-holic, the first 1 hour I was pretty nervous, like now, and the second hour like, yes, take me more, yes. So you be excited after, especially when you have around a lot model to don't hide herself, so you be chill after it.
I'm sorry, my English in fact it sucks, so I need to answer what your question. So, the question is, am I happy if lots of people come here for me? Or, yeah, I appreciate of that. But just of course, if you polite to me, I would like to show my best to you. Yeah, and of course, sometimes. I just don't not really like the people not with a polite.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be asshole. Yeah, just kind of for example, today I heard 500 times about, oh, excuse me, may I take a photo with you? Yeah, I know, but some people I just walking or I'm shopping, don't bother me. And then some people just kind of, what the fuck are you? Don't take a photo. And I think yeah, just like that. Never be asshole like that. Yeah, and of course I always welcome you guys become my friend, and please check my OnlyFans. Yeah, I will message you there.
Okay, so one more question, one final one. Choose.
choose three.
Yuriko, go ahead.
The red guy. A red guy.
Oh, right guy.
Yeah.
Senpai.
Hello. So, you said you got OnlyFans, right? I was gonna...
Okay, my OnlyFans is FAYPRINCE.
I don't have OnlyFans, I have only Patreon. If you check Yuriko Tiger, よろしくお願いします。
I was gonna ask on the OnlyFans question, is like, because that's the U.S. market right now is pretty much focusing on that. So that's like, I feel like the U.S. customers will focus on like that kind of, I don't know, business model. So I don't know, because you guys said we're gonna go more international. Like, what tips do you have for? I guess are you guys gonna go maybe towards that direction to compete with OnlyFans?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually like. Lots of Japanese models are interested in like, oh, how can I get to know my foreign fans and stuff? So there, we recommend these foreign sites like Patreon and OnlyFans to them, and we're helping them to start that too. So.
Maybe one more question.
Yeah, we could do one last one. Anyone interested?
Yeah.
Yeah. Question for models. Question for models. Question for models. Come on.
The very back.
Yes, thank you.
Bone or boneless chicken?
I can't see your face. Thank you.
Do you prefer bone or boneless chicken?
Chicken with the bone or without when you eat it?
Hey, you love chicken.
Interesting question.
I love chicken, big chicken. Okay.
Okay, thank you guys. Those are great questions. You learned a little bit. And now, as promised, it is the quiz with prizes. So, Matt, can you go ahead and introduce some of the prizes that you guys can win today?
I mean, you guys, whoever wins will get to come out and grab one, but we have some prints from the models.
Yeah, high quality prints of models from their photo shoots. We have some other stuff. We have gotchas.
Face DVDs.
Yeah, we have two face signed DVDs. JoJo stuff. JoJo stuff from
Kingdom Hearts.
Currently, there
Just
is
stuff from
a
Japan.
JoJo anniversary event happening at Tokyo Skytree. We went ahead and grabbed you guys some special merch. You can't get here. That's also there. We got some gacha from Akiba and Kingdom Hearts Cafe merch, Chainsaw Man merch. So,
Sorry.
you guys ready? Number one. Is everyone ready? Is everyone prepared? Number one. Let's do it. Which anime character's Japanese voice actress also did Gravure? Nezuko, Nami, Winry Rockbell, or Mikasa Ackerman?
Okay.
Wait. I think they can't shout it out. We have to pick.
Oh, I already.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
It's not Nami.
Sorry.
So one more chance.
One more chance. Pick whoever. Yeah. Which one? Sorry.
Mikasa.
D. It's not Mikasa.
Okay, last chance.
Last chance says we want to give chance at this point. Just don't pick one of the other answers. Faye, you want to pick?
The neon guy.
Neon guy. Which one? Oh, that guy. Okay. Which one? With the light, right?
Yes.
Yeah, here with the light. Yeah.
And show the answer.
Man, it's not what you
Oh, next question.
Guys, what's going on? It's Anime Expo. Next, come on. I didn't get a question. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Nezuko, Hito Akari. Almost as almost. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. A lot of Gravure models do go into. So a lot of them do voice acting, for example. Nezuko's voice actress is one of them.
All right.
All right. Next question.
Come on. Oh, it's a difficult one.
Who is Tristan's favorite AV idol?
Wow.
Is it Hatano Yui, Sakura Mana, Aoi Sora, or Aika? Tristan, I think it's fair that you go ahead and pick somebody for this one.
All right. You? Yeah.
Is it Aika?
No.
All right. I am going to pick for the next one. Exactly. The Kirby hat. We're big fans of Kirby.
Kirby!
I'm thinking of mine. I'm just going with D.
You just picked D.
That's a chance. That's a
It's
chance.
not Aika.
It's not Ika.
Oh.
Right.
Next one.
The flashy.
You should say I get to.
This time it might be.
Sorry. No, sorry. Didn't.
All right, one more.
No,
All right.
no.
I have glasses.
I'm going to say. B, except for mom.
Okay, that's correct.
Yay! Come on up. Come on up.
You can pick one of the photos over here.
Nice job.
Prince.
The answer was, in fact, Sakuramano. They're all fantastic. Good taste. Good job. Shield medal. Shield medal. All right. Next question. The term gravure idol translates most accurately as porn actress, pinup model, hostess, or cosplayer.
Okay, both hands up. That's correct.
That's correct. Come on up.
Easy one.
Sounded to be easy.
Yeah, sure. Right now.
So hard, right?
Faye.
Nice job. Oh, Faye. Ooh, okay. Okay. Number 4. Faye Prince's special talent is what? Violin, karate, magic, or engineering?
That's the DVD. That's Faye's DVD.
This one's for Faye's DVD.
Well, the hand with the head.
Oh, see? Magic?
That's correct.
That's correct. Very well done. Come on up. You've earned it. All right. Next question.
This is for the JoJo
This is
bridge.
for the JoJo bridge. How does Dio's severed head get aboard the ship Jonathan is on?
D.
That is correct. His minion Wang Chan brings them aboard.
All right. In Fullmetal Alchemist, what is the name of Mei Chang's pet panda?
Oh, okay.
Question. This is
My
Matt's
full
question.
metal question for these Akiba gotchas. Okay, let's go way back there with the glasses. Yes. Sorry? How am I? No, sorry.
Incorrect. Sorry.
Let's go. Yeah. Yes.
That's correct. What is the name of the all-lewd cosplay event in Japan?
Okay, Yuriko, you pick something.
Pressure's all on you, Unicorn.
Sneaker guy. That's the sneaker guy.
C. Cosaholic.
That's correct.
That's correct. Come on up. I gotta say, it is very impressive seeing the things you guys are choosing to hold up when you raise your hands. Okay. Next question, and last question on the slide. Which of the following is not a store found in Akihabara, Japan?
Somebody Google Map it.
Yamashiroya Mandorake Super Potato.
Okay, guy with the sword. That's correct.
That's correct. Nice job.
Gotcha. Photos.
All right, nice choice.
Great.
Oh, sorry, that is not the last question. We have 2 more. My phone is different. Number 9. What is something a graveyard idol would not suck on?
Banana, lollipop, feet, ice cream.
Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy.
Guy holding the...
That's correct.
That's right.
I have to walk all the way.
Come on over. This time you have to use your feet to come on over. All right, next one. You have a 50% chance. True or false? If 25% of the model's butt is covered in a Gravure shoot, it will be okay for ages 15 and up. Faye, go ahead and pick something.
Oh my.
Yeah, you got
Is this for a face DVD?
Is that a
Okay,
skateboard?
the long stuff. The long stuff. Okay. Already high.
Okay, guy with the orange thing.
So that's false.
False.
That's correct. It's 30%.
Come on up.
Good job.
Okay. So that was the last written question we have, but we do still have some prizes. So we're gonna make some impromptu questions, 2 more. So how about, you guys have any questions you want to throw out? Anything you think will stump the audience? Matt, Tristan, Faye?
Faye, think of a question for your second DVD. Something only you know.
Okay.
Gotcha question. Let's see. What country am I from? Go. Over here. No.
Canada.
I didn't pick you. One Piece.
Canada.
Correct.
That's right. Okay, one more. Anyone here, Kirill, Faye, Tristan, have a question that you think will stump them?
For the gotcha?
Yeah, we just have the gotcha. We just have the gotcha round, right? And Faye's DVD.
No.
I don't.
Okay. I have a question about. Okay, how long is my leg? I have A, B, C, D. A is 100 centimeter. 2 is 101 centimeter. 3 is 110 centimeter. 4 is 111 centimeter. Do you remember answer?
You guys really know this.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. A sneaker guy.
101 centimeters.
Oh!
Alright, I've got a question. What is the most recent Pokemon TCG set that was released in Japan? In Japan.
Wait, this one guy.
In Japan, where? Just one hand. Where is it? Which one? The most recent that's been officially, like, in stores now, in Japan.
Google.
Google, no! Google, don't answer that! No, but I didn't pick anybody. You.
Lost Days.
Not quite. That one's not out yet, but close. Yeah, you were. Not Lost Origin. That one's also not out. It's basically the same. Wait, I picked you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I picked you. No, not quite. Yes, you.
I'll give you a hint. It's also a game.
You.
Pokemon Go.
That's right! It's the Pokemon Go set!
Okay.
Oh, we have one more DVD?
Okay.
Last question for the final DVD segment.
Okay. This question very important. What's our company's YouTube channel name?
Oh man.
Man.
So easy.
And
You should follow, by the way.
another question. What's my OnlyFans account?
Okay.
Okay. Tristan, pick one.
We have two answers then.
You need to finish 2 answers.
Mario.
Okay, our channel name. And
Yes.
my OnlyFans account. Again, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, again.
you got it. You got it. Congratulations. All right, guys. Thank you very much. That was very entertaining.
Hey, can we take a photo with you guys?
Wait. We've got one slide left. Basically just saying thank you. It was awesome to see you guys turn out. Yes, we would like to get a photo with all of you guys, so go ahead and post. We will take some shots. Sorry. Photo shots. Alright. Get her.
Is it going on a graveyard?
You guys are all graveyard stars today.